Whoopi is on The View.
She is? I don't watch TV. Well, I watched, like, Gossip Girl and Vampire Diaries, and So You Think You Can Dance, and America's Next Top Model, and Fly Girls.
I love how she says she doesn't watch TV, then she
No, I'm
like,
not done yet.
10 shows.
I'm not done yet. I watch them on my computer. I just recently bought my first TV for $12.50 at an auction. It's silver and cute.
It's not pink? There's no pink on it?
They didn't have a pink one. They had black, which is like... And then
we're still talking about race, but I love that segment. They had black. No, I'm joking.
I don't like
that wasn't the part
black.
that was it.
I like dark chocolate brown. It's a great accent. It's a warm color. It's very homey. It like envelops you in its wonderful coziness.
We're not still talking about race right now.
Oh, I'm not talking about.
Because this is part 3. I was trying to like cut her off for 1 second because she's like, I don't like black. I like warm chocolate. I love it. No. We're not talking about race. We're talking about race now. Like seriously, people who are like offended by other people saying the N-word, don't use it yourself because it sounds stupid and it sounds like you're a moron. You're ignorant for a person to say the N-word and then you take offense for somebody else saying it. I don't like anyone saying it, but I told my mom, if a person comes up to me and calls me the N-word, I don't care whatever color they are, I'm flat out going to tell you the natural word. And I've done that before just to tick people off because I'm like, you're not changing the word just by like changing a letter or two and making it sound like it's a positive word. The connotations of the N-word is still bad.
I don't even like really know like how it got formed, but I know one thing I remember is there was a Mexican family that obviously spoke Spanish that they moved to America, and the mother didn't know a lot of English, and she was talking about something and she said negro,
which is black,
which is like negro, and
it means the color black. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it means the color black, and like her kid's like, oh my gosh, don't say that, because she didn't understand it.
Well, there's
Are you
very.
putting that away? Are we gonna sing later? God,
it changes the
whole
torch.
point.
It changes the freaking. I'm gonna have to tune it all over again because the temperature in the room changes.
Well, you can tune it and we can talk, or I can talk.
She's gonna talk. But
I should talk about affirmative action because I think.
Yeah, let's talk about affirmative action.
I think it's really important because being in a college, you'd think that people would. I mean, not like people are stupid, but they would think more about what they say. Like I've taken 2 social science classes, my integrative social sciences, and they were both on race, ethnicity, and diversity. And I had a friend who was in a similar class as IH, and they told me that they were talking about like the difference between races. And some girl, she was an African American. Like, I hate saying African American because you can't tell where someone's from.
For 1 second. In opinions, when a person is called Mexican American, most people know they're Mexican American because their parents are from Mexico and they were born in America. For people to call other people African American and they have no relatives from Africa,
no ties at all.
That's completely inaccurate and completely incorrect. So if you're going to be categorized as black, in my opinion, that's still a color too. Go by what you feel. So if you want to, agree that you have multiracial ties, you shouldn't have to pinpoint one specific race because that means that you're setting aside all the rest of your history and all the rest of your family ties. I mix with a lot of stuff. I do not ever pinpoint myself as black because it's a color, and none of my family are from Africa. None of them. I've traced, my family has too. So, back to your question.
I'm a bunch of white. But in one class, this one girl stood up, and she was like, she's like, I'm a minority. I hate how all of you people, like, and she's talking about, like, anyone in general, like, they don't understand, like, her people and what they've gone through and this, that. And she's like, we're always discriminated against. We're always the smallest amount of people. And my friend Rafael Ocampo stood up. Same as Brett. He's Mexican. He's like, how many people are, like, Hispanic in here? About 7 people raised their hand. There were about 100 black people in that room. And she's going off how I was saying how they're so discriminated against and this and that. And it's just like, and there's a lot of ties to the past. Like, in a different class, this girl stood up and she said, I think that anyone who is white should have to pay, like, African Americans money for what their ancestors suffered. But that's not fair. Like, my family's from the South, but we didn't own slaves. And I have friends that are black, and like I treat them just the same as any of my other friends. I don't think it's fair to put that distinction. I mean, if you did that, well, there's been persecution for like forever. Like, think about what happened to the Jewish people. That's terrible, and like bad things are still happening because some genius decided to make them a country, which I mean isn't a bad idea. But then they threw all the Palestinians out, and now the Palestinians have no place to go. Yeah. It's just an uprooting of people because people can't live together. I wish that people could be nicer and more understanding.
I mean,
like a white fox and like a little red fox can be friends, but people can't be.
There are some people that are able to accept differences from different cultures and stuff like that. That just means that they have an intelligence to be able to evolve. My opinion with the whole situation, I've heard this too, is that because of what your family, or what you think by reading some of the history books, what you think your family has gone through in the past, that other people's families should have to give you, like, payback for something that happened. My thing is, there are a lot of, you know, African American people, and there are a lot of black people and multiracial people. When I first got to campus on MSU, we were walking around during Welcome Week, and my friend is like, she's part Irish and her dad's black. So we're walking around, and on Grand River, and this car pulls by, and calls us the N-word. So I completely know some of that stuff. Now, the only reason that ticked me off, because I know what the N-word means. I'm not taking it like that's who I am, because that's completely not who I am. I looked at it where this person's ignorant, and they're just talking because they want to hear themselves talk. Now, other people that just feel like everything should be handed to them because of things that happened in the past, stuff happens in the past, and if people don't learn from everyone's history, we learn about, you know, European history, we learn about all this stuff. The thing that ticks me off more than, you know, other people claiming that everything should be given to this type of person is a lot of the stuff that happened started with Native Americans, which sometimes gets me ticked off when I hear other people about how, you know, there's a percentage of this about African American students on campus. There is a low percentage of African American students, categorized African American students, that go to MSU, but there are less than 2% Native American students that go to MSU. Considering that this is a land-grant university, and that this land belongs to the Native Americans, and that they aren't really represented anywhere on campus, that's the thing that ticks me off.
Actually,
if people are going to pay for
it. They do. I think, I know they did it last year, so I'm not losing my voice, but yeah. Last year they did have something out in Senator Phillips where they designated like these signs. Yeah. And they had like welcome written backwards to signify what happened in the past. I don't know how many of you guys know about African American history, but when Europeans came over here, their diseases and everything killed off well over half the population of Native Americans living here. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you guys remember the anthrax scare, but the only time that biochemical warfare has ever happened was actually when the Europeans used, they put like smallpox or something on blankets and they sent it out to the people to get them sick and to kill them off. Like, for everyone thinking that, Muslims, like, if you're a Muslim, you're a terrorist. Yeah. And like, just categorizing people like that. The only, like, there's been terrible things that every single race or culture has done to other people. Like, before slaves were over here in America, they were enslaving each other over there. People
like
were
she
sold.
pointed at me. No, I'm joking. Before slaves. No, I'm joking.
People were like, they were sold into slavery by like people in their villages and stuff. And actually, it was I shouldn't say it's Macton, I love you. You're a really good friend of mine. But like the Dutch, they were the ones that really like brought it over here, and they were big into the slave trade. So I don't feel like
there's still slavery going on, especially human trafficking and things like that in foreign countries.
Yeah,
and people
it's not
being brought in like trunks and stuff like that.
It's not one group. It's not a group of people. It's select people. Like I have a friend who's Muslim, and she would never ever hurt a fly. So like I don't think it's fair. People be like, oh, you're wearing a burqa, which is like a headscarf, so you must be a bad person. I don't think that's fair. I don't agree.
If it's your religion and you don't know anything about a person, I believe that in order to understand a person, try to learn something from them or ask questions. It shouldn't be Well, is this part 4 or part 3?
Part 3.
Should there be a part 4?
No, we can just finish this quick.
Good, awesome, cool. So if you really want to know something about a person, try to ask them questions or research some stuff. Don't just
don't judge a book by its cover, and don't judge a person by the color of their skin, because it's the inner beauty that counts, not the outer beauty.
And they probably might not even be the color.